Hey guys, twitch.tv/MuzzleTop here with another gold farm guide, this time on WOD Garrison's during a non-WOD expansion.
Are you stupid or something?
No. Nope. Maybe. Let's figure it out. I'm currently in BFA during the time of the recording of this video. First question I get asked with genuine confusion, I get asked often, is Garrison still worth doing today? To me, absolutely. I'm going to break down how I turn 20 to 30 minutes a day I spend for the 70 plus alts that I run all the garrisons through for the level 110s to 120s to make gold. Casual gold farming at its finest, folks, I promise. I turn WoW into sort of an infrastructure type method for gold farming that provides steady gold, quite frankly, without much competition for the markets that you're able to step into. And then, disclaimer, that does vary server to server, but you folks are smart. You already knew that. Don't need to explain it. Before we do get started, sellout mode, folks, down below. Social media links, click them, send the love. I promise that will not be sent back in void. I'll keep putting Go Farm content out for you, the viewer, from that perspective of a multi-boxer, which for my non-multi-boxing sisters, brothers, nothing but a group form. So make sure to plug into a community, plug into an LFR, grab a friend, go for 'em. Click subscribe, click the bell. Let's get started. Hey folks, welcome back. Before we get started, just want to go over the table of contents. I have 5 different sections in this explanation guide. What we'll be going over will be the Garrison Requirements. I'll explain that. The basic Garrison build that I like to use for a majority of the alts that I have. The available items that you can earn from this farm. The login rotation that I do, as well as tips and tricks. First section of this guide is the requirements. How do I get the level 3 garrison? If you have not been around for the last 2 years, if you are legitimately brand new, then you are welcome. Let me go ahead and change your life and highlight some of those requirements for you today. Very first thing you want to do is just be level 100. It will allow you to unlock level 3 garrisons. You can be sub 100 and then do level 1, level 2. But to unlock some of the fancier gold requirements, you're going to want to be level 3. The other requirement will be able to do the unlock quest for your faction. You can Google WOD Garrison unlock by faction to go ahead and unlock it. This video will not go through that quest line and how to do it. I will share a video of what I use personally to go through it. I'll have it in the description as well. If you are level 100, if you have done the unlock quest, you'll just need to take your level 1 garrison and then continue to open up the cache that is outside of the main building of your garrison, which gives you over 100 resources a day, which you would then use to accrue to upgrade to a level 2 garrison, eventually to a level 3. You can use handy notes. You can go out and find treasures. You can go ahead and accrue it that way. Me personally, I'm very casual. Time is money, friend. I like to go do something else. Very slow method, but you can just log in, get it, and then you're done. I will go over later in the next section for this video on the garrison builds that I personally recommend doing, which maximizes the least amount of time spent to get the most out of it. Alright folks, next section for this guide is the WOD Garrison build requirements. How do I build for efficiency? I'll go ahead and log it in right now so I can show you. This is what I do for all my garrisons across. Is level 3 garrison. You want to make sure that you do unlock that. It's the whole purpose of one of the requirements is being at least level 100 so that you are eligible to be able to unlock the Frostwall Tavern, or if you're Alliance, it's the inn. But what it reads as is it unlocks the particular lucrative garrison resource missions. Examples of the items that you can get is like the medallions, the Void Satchel. You can unlock the Ogre Cache, and I'll go a little bit more in depth. I'll go ahead and provide you all the list. It's in the one of the next sections for this guide, which will be for what available items you can get for the farm. You want to make sure that you'll also unlock the level 3 barracks so that you can increase the amount of followers that you can get on your payroll, so to speak, for each of your garrisons. And then outside of that, you want to make sure you can get the trading post For the small plots, here's how I do it. I make sure I get enchanting across for every single one so that I can do temporal crystals. And the temporal crystals for me on my server sell between 40 gold to 80 gold each. That is very good. For the amount of alts that I have, it's a complete factory. I use it for crafting. I use it for even just putting raw mats out into the auction house. Outside of that, credit to Arnorda, who's on Twitch as well. It is twitch.tv/Arnorda42. Level 3 storehouse. With the storehouse, I'll read it as is. I'm doing an upgrade for it right now. But it increases the work orders that you can have for your small huts. What does that mean? That means I do not need to run out every 2 to 3 days to loot these huts. I can do this every 5 to 6 days. It'll increase the work orders by 15, which is absolutely phenomenal. And then as a side perk, you can also get the personal bank as well as your guild bank without having to hearth, do a loading screen. You can just walk 10 seconds up the road into your garrison. So I absolutely do recommend that. And then for the third one, if you only have one crafting profession, I do recommend that you do that. If you have 2 crafting professions, then what I would suggest is maybe you flex on the enchanting hut if you are alt heavy like myself, so that you can go ahead and pick that up. So outside of being level 3 garrison, getting the tavern, getting the barracks, you can flex a little bit for the small huts depending on your professions, and then just make sure you get storehouse. Outside of that, you can kind of customize it depending on your personal decisions. If you want to sit here and do scribe huts for doing the inscription wand shuffle, absolutely, that's fine. You can also flex with getting rid of the trading post or the Frostwolf Tavern. It's up to you to get a barn. And one of the bottlenecks for crafting is the Savage Bloods. If you are a multi-boxer, it's great. Create a 5-box account, go out and do the quest to go ahead and trap animals in WOD, and then doing all 5 will get credit for doing those missions. Go ahead and then begin your factory. I do recommend doing it on at least one 5-box or 10-box, whatever box you have as a multi-boxer. Or if you're not a multi-boxer, you're just a single account owner, that's fine as well. Just make sure that you have at least one barn to be able to take advantage of that. Alright? Alright folks, next section for this guide will be the login rotation. Very first thing, as soon as I log in to every single one of my alts, I have every single one parked here. I have the Garrison Hearth, all my bars as well, so that I can park them right here. So this is what it looks like. As soon as I log in for that rotation, I'll go ahead and I have the table here. I'm in the middle of the day, so I had already started. I'll go ahead and press spacebar to complete. As I am running through these garrison missions here on my toolbars, and I will include the link down below, which I was able to pull off of WoW Economy, I will be doing my daily profession cooldowns as well. Alright, and outside of that, once I have everything learned, I will go back to available missions, and then I will right click on the ones that I want to learn. Go ahead and send the tentative parties. I do have in red different quests that I do not wish to do, so it bumps those quests down below. I'm at a point where I don't need to be doing any more of the armor enhancements or the weapon enhancements, but that's pretty much it. Alright, this is what I do every 4 days to 5 days. When I get to day 5 or day 6, what I'll end up doing is I will take my alts to run them out here. I will loot the garrison resources there. I will then go to my small huts that I have available. I will loot the item. I will go ahead and restock the mats that I need. I will repeat it for the other small huts as well. And then outside of that, one other thing to call out, again, another requirement, this is why I do want to have the level 3 garrison, is I will run to 2 vendors. I will either go to the primal trade vendor, where right now I have 38,000 primal spirits, and I'm going to start turning them in. You can turn them in for Savage Bloods if you are low, if you're finding yourself in a bottleneck, or if you're not doing farm, as well as Fellblights. Me personally, Fellblights are very cheap, so I tend not to spend my primal spirits on that. I tend to spend it on the Savage Bloods. They go for about 50, 60 gold a pop. It is worth it, in my opinion, to prioritize that. However, with that being said, you're the driver, chat. Go ahead and pick which one you want to do. And then outside of that, what I will end up doing is hitting this vendor on a daily recurrence. And what I'm looking for is for the Garrison resource to be at the 16 cost mark. And what I'll end up buying is Gorgon fly traps, sumptuous furs. I'll end up buying true iron ore as well. So right now I'm completely stocked. BlackRock, I will never buy it off of the vendor, at least on my server, because it's very cheap. Take that into consideration as you're farming. And then outside of that, credit to twitch.tv/melon, more Milan, depending on how you say it, who gave me this recommendation, is fishes as well. The Warlords of Draenor fishes turned into potions that you can create that is still used at the time of this video for BFA, used for Mythic Dungeons. Every single one of them. They're great. You do have some utility, water walking, as well as breathing as well. And then on a weekly basis for my login rotation, I do this every Tuesday. Again, you could do this on level 2 tavern or level 3. Is what I'll be looking for is for the trait for increased reward, Extreme Scavenger. I start stockpiling them up. And that's pretty much it. That's what my daily rotation looks like. When I'm doing off this for the 70 plus ults that I do have, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes a day logging in and running through doing this type of rotation. If you do have any questions, go ahead and post it down below in the chat, and then I will be sure to respond if anything is unclear. I'll be happy to go ahead and clear that out for you guys. All right, folks, last section for this guide, it is the tips and tricks, FYIs, and then I'll go ahead and leave you with some final thoughts on what I think about Warlords of Draenor's Garrison within BFA content up to this point. Very first thing that I would recommend is make sure you get level 3 Garrison, especially for the Tavern, which would allow you to get the Extreme Scavenger followers. You get that at level 2 as well, but it opens up a lot more of gold type mission rewards for you to earn for your account. And then also with level 3 garrisons, it increases your small huts, which means you don't have to visit it as much as you have more work orders, which goes into my next tip is Storehouse level 3. It increases your work orders even more. So you don't need to be going to your garrison every 2-3 days. You can go to it every 5 or 6 days, so it kind of helps minimize some of that micromanaging on your garrison. With that said, you are the owner of your garrison. Excuse me. If you would like to maybe max out a little bit more gold earned, you can replace that storehouse with another profession type hut, and then you would just need to visit it every 2 to 3 days, as it would fill up on the work orders. Next step I would want to leave with you is making sure to investigate the trader for the garrison resources. What you're looking for is when it hits 16 resource cost, you would want to buy it in bulk. That's the whole purpose of saving up your garrison resources. I'm talking about the true iron ore, the draconic dusts, the sumptuous furs, as well as the Gorgon fly traps. Now, you do want to make sure that you get blackrock ore, but because it is so cheap, I tend to buy it in bulk off the auction house, but at around 50 silver a piece on Tychondrius. Pretty cheap, pretty good. And then outside of that, what I would end up using my resources if you, after time you're going to accrue too much, is I buy the Warlords of Draenor fish. Excuse me, I did mention it earlier in the video guide, and thanks again to Melon for that tip as well. Outside of that, if there's any other tips and tricks that you yourself know from working on Warlords of Draenor or the Garrison, by all means, go ahead and comment down below, share with the community. We are very interested in hearing what you have to share. And then as far as final thoughts for me for this, I think it's absolutely relevant. Me, I come from an altaholic point of view. That's the way that I enjoy playing the game the most. So outside of logging into each of my characters on a daily basis to do the Warlords of Draenor Garrison, I also log in with the ulterior motive of doing daily profession cooldowns between alchemy, jewel crafting, blacksmithing, leatherworking. Every single crafting profession has some type of daily profession cooldown that you can take advantage of. So as I am already logging into my alt extensive army to go ahead and take advantage of those daily cooldowns, I park them in the Garrison to already take advantage to kind of stretch out that extra gold earned on a daily basis, which helps. For me personally, for the way that I play this game, I think it is a very valid method to farming gold for not that much time spent. Like I said, with 70 plus characters that I have, I spend around 20 to 30 minutes a day. We're talking about a small amount of time for the various alts that I have to go ahead and gold farm. But here's what I don't have. I don't have it broken down because I am so stretched out between so many different professions, between so many different alts. I haven't figured out a method to try to track the gold earned. So that's something that I would be curious about. If somebody has a method for that, I would challenge you, go ahead and post that into the comments. You can reach out to me on twitch.tv/Mazeltov. I will have my social medias links down below. Very, very interested in hearing what you have to say for this farm. For the folks that have gotten to the end of this video and you have watched it in its entirety, thank you so much. I super, super appreciate it, folks. Thank you again. Take care and have a happy gold farm. Peace.